You do what you're supposed to do. You do what you're supposed to do, and you don't compromise. You do what you're supposed to do, and you don't compromise. If you have talent, somebody in the right place will see it. It might take a year. It might take 10 years. But you gotta stay on track. You have to stay the course. A lot of people don't want to stay the course. Everybody today wants instant success, instant gratification. I was talking to a recording artist not too long ago who got signed to an independent label. And she said to me, she said, you know, I got my first royalty check and it was abysmal. And I asked her, I said, if you don't mind me asking, how much was it? She said, oh, it was, you know, it was like, you know, after my manager took his money, and then I, you know, it was like, you know, $110, $10,000. I said, so how much of that you still got to pay your manager and all those other people? So I got to give my manager 20 grand. I got to give my manager 20 grand. Then I got to give this person the money. I said, did you pay any of your music publishing? No. I did write a few songs on the album. No. I said, okay. Well, at least you got some songwriter royalties coming in. She said, yeah, but you know, I'm starting to get kind of disillusioned because the business isn't what I thought it was going to be. And I said to her, I said, look, I'm on a record company. And I can tell you right now, the business ain't glamorous at all. It's a grind. But if you are a hustler type person, you got that hustler mentality, you got that, you know, I got to get out here and get my grind on type mentality, you're going to do all right. It's the people who don't want to hustle or the people who fade out and end up not doing nothing. Because you got artists, I've met artists who were like me. They might have put their own records out first, and then once they got money, they start putting other artists out, and they just played the background. They just was the businesswoman or the businessman. If you're really seriously trying to get your paper out here, you got to make things happen. Too many times, people want to just sit here bullshit and get mad at somebody else. Because again, you got to understand how a hater thinks. A hater is somebody who, in their sick mind, they want to sit up here and say that I didn't have the same opportunities that person got. Bullshit. Bullshit. You got the same opportunities the Iceman got. You got the same opportunities that these other folks out here were able to get, but you just squandered yours, or you didn't prioritize your life around your gift. You just sat up here and made excuses and just said, fuck it. You made excuses while the Iceman and others went out here and got their grind on, even if it was 3 o'clock in the morning, because they knew they had to do what they needed to do. I'm amazed when I look at this, my second master's degree that I have up on my wall, my master's in social work from the University of Texas. The one thing that that is impressed upon me is I can't believe that I made it through that program, because I almost quit twice. And every time I'm sitting here on my couch looking at TV, and something on TV reminds me of hard work and commitment, I look up at that degree and I said, damn, look at that. You know, I got a degree from the University of Texas. How many people can say that? How many people can say that? Not many. I got a degree from one of the hardest schools in the country. And that's not even my first master's degree. So when I look at that, I say to myself, if you could do that, you could do even more. And that's one of the reasons why in the next year I'm going to I start working on my PhD. It's not going to be in social work, although the school I'm thinking about going to has they do have a PhD in social work program. I don't really like social work on a PhD level. I've done some research, and it's not a good fit for me. And social work on the PhD level is it's not interesting from what professors have told me who got their PhDs in social work. The first thing they said, it was like if they had it to do all over again, they wouldn't do it. That's what a couple of them told the whole class. If I had it to do over again, I wouldn't do a PhD in social work. So I'm thinking about a PhD in sociology. I'm thinking about a PhD in educational leadership. I'm thinking about a PhD in higher learning in case I want to work the business side of a university, like maybe a vice president of academic affairs or something like that. You know, getting that $200,000 a year check, and plus I got that MBA too. So I'm looking at doing that career route because I would like to work in the university arena and getting an online PhD from a reputable online university, which is there's only two that I'm looking at. And University of Phoenix is not one of them. Okay, I wouldn't even embarrass myself about going to the University of Phoenix. Bless me. So the sky's the limit, but you can reach high. You can reach into the galaxy. You don't have to sit there and just deal with what you've already accomplished. Reach high, especially if you have children, because you can show your children that hey, it was okay for mom to reach higher to attain what we consider to be impossible goals. I can do it too. That's what you tell your children when you go out there and dream, but then not just dream and pray, but put work in and achieve your accomplishments, but achieve your goals that you have set for yourself. So I said I wasn't going to get a degree from an online school, but in this case, I'm so busy right now. My time is limited. Going to an online university just fits my lifestyle right now. And then too, the classes are shorter, and I'm already used to writing long ass papers, so it's not going to be. I'm not really tripping. I just don't want to get a PhD in business because business, it's bad enough with any master's or PhD. You got to take statistics. But what I don't like is I don't want to take finance again, and I don't want to do it. I just don't want to do a dissertation on business. I just don't want to do it, man. I'm like I said, it's either going to be. I got about 4 or 5 choices: sociology, business, sociology, higher learning, educational leadership, working in schools. There's a couple, and there's two more. I just haven't written them down, so forgive me for not remembering the other 2. But those 3 are my top 1 through 5 choices. The other 2, they're probably they're of interest, but there's no big deal if I major in those. But the top 3 of those ones that I just mentioned, it's going to be a lot of hard work because the online universities give a lot more work than brick and mortar universities. And the 1 or 2 schools that I'm looking at, they're accredited and they're respected. And one of them is in the Twin City area, that's perfect for me when I go to defend my dissertation. So I'm going to get my PhD, but I probably won't start until later on this year or beginning of next year. So, because I gotta get these loan people off my ass, and I'm not paying these loans. So that's the motivation. Not just that, but I'm just, from a financial perspective, I know what I need to do. Anyway, uh, haters haters make the mistake of squandering their opportunities. Okay, what a hater would do, first of all, haters are pretty lame people to begin with. To fix your brain to hate on another person shows your weaknesses, not your strengths, but your weaknesses. A hater is a male or female, because they're not man or woman. A hater is a male or female who'll sit there and say, well, I don't like the Iceman because he's always talking about his master's degrees. I don't like the Iceman because, he accidentally created another career for himself as a radio show host. And even though his show is still in the infant stages of development, and it's not a high-tech program or format, I enjoy what he has to say, but I hate that nigga. I hate him because I'm not him. I hate him because while he was burning the midnight oil writing a book or trying to improve the show in some way, or doing research on doing the next video, I was trolling around the internet trying to find bitches online. Instead of taking the opportunities that have been afforded to me, I was at bars trolling around trying to find women to fuck. I took my little bitty tiny little puny paycheck and I put gas in my car and went trolling around to bars and clubs 3 nights last week. So now I'm broke because I spent all my money on gas and I bought these women drinks and they didn't even want to give me their numbers for whatever reason. So now I'm sitting at home, my grill cooking. I'm mad because the Iceman just posted a video on dusty niggas and haters that go out here and squander their opportunities. I'm mad at the Iceman and others like him because he is directly profiting from his hard work and dedication. Me, I'm just half-ass dedicated to going to school. Me, I'm just half-ass dedicated to group economics. Me, I'm half-ass dedicated to trying to start my own business. I got a bunch of, I used to get a lot of emails about 3 years ago from people who wanted to start businesses. And these people would come around and be like, yo, Iceman, can you help me try to start a business? And I said, no. I can give you information and you can do it your damn self. I'm not doing anything for anybody unless you pay me. So, of course, their response was, okay, that's cool, what do I need to do? And then when I started trying to tell them what they needed to do, the ghetto nigga in them started coming out. And instead of this person seeking knowledge and being hungry, what I got from them is complacency and lack of interest. And it basically, by the last couple, email transmissions, it was apparent to me that this person wasn't serious about starting a business in the first place. This person was just bullshitting, and they thought they could just send me an email and tell me about their silly business idea, concept, and they thought the Iceman was going to put some effort and some money behind their bullshit idea. Because of course the email, after they explained what kind of business idea they had, of course they went into the diatribe of saying this is a surefire thing and that nobody else is doing it, and if I could just help them out, they would, you know, all their problems would be solved. Of course, I saw this person as being ridiculous and stupid, and you know, they're lucky I didn't. They're lucky I didn't say that to their faces, because actually most of them, their business ideas are shit anyway. For most of them, their business ideas are a joke, and I wouldn't be caught dead trying to help somebody who could barely, you know, some of these people could barely write themselves, you know. And I said to myself, you know, I'm not helping anybody unless they are willing to put the work in. If somebody, not one of these people ever emailed me and said, Ice, I'm willing to do whatever it is you want me to do to get this business off the ground. I just want to get your help. I don't have any money to pay you, but could you just at least kind of, you know, I'm willing to do whatever it is you tell me to do. You know, if I got an email like that, I might try to help some of these guys. But none of these guys come off like they really want to do any work. What they do is they come off acting like they looking for a handout. You know, go ask the guy who's doing better than me for a handout instead of, you know, giving myself a hand. And my thing is, that's one of the reasons I had to start cutting off family, because too many people started calling me or still calling me or still emailing me with their dumbass business ideas. And I'm just like, dude, that's not going to work. Dude, that's not going to fucking work. Why are you saying that, man? You trying to kill people's dreams. I'm like, man, I ain't trying to kill your dreams. I'm just telling you that there's 5 businesses out there doing that shit you talking about doing. And what you're doing is not original. And do you have the money to do X, Y, Z? No, I don't have the money to get that kind of equipment. Then how the fuck do you plan on doing a business like that, dude? You sound stupid. And, you know, these ain't no spring chicken type niggas. These is niggas 40 and 50 years old calling me with dumb shit. I'm just like, dude, what the fuck is wrong with you? That's not going to work. You know, it takes a lot for me to tell somebody that they're wasting their time. But if I think I can help them, that's the best thing you can do, is tell somebody they don't know what the fuck they're doing and they need to slow their roll. Or they need to retool and figure out what they're doing, instead of jumping feet first into some shit they don't know. Because I've had several family members start businesses and they ended up closing because they weren't doing it right. And when you don't do something right, you end up closed. But haters squander their opportunities. Haters squander their opportunities. While you're working hard, grinding, and sacrificing, haters are sitting around playing. Haters are sitting around trying to fuck bitches. Maybe they are fucking some bitches. Haters sit around smoking weed and not doing nothing. Haters sit around with their boyfriend or their husband or whomever, wasting time with him, going to see, you know, a fucking movie instead of getting their classwork done. They're supposed to be going to school, and yet they're out with their fucking boyfriend playing around, smoking weed, doing dumb shit. And then they want to get it. Then when they get their test back from the professor and they get a C or a D or an F, then they're gonna blame it on racism. Oh, it's racism. He just a racist. I'm like, man, you need to stop. I've talked to those kind of black people, and they make me sick. You make me sick, dog. Okay? Black people like that make me sick. Don't sit up here and cry racism when you ain't doing what you're supposed to do, which is usually all the time. Okay? I've taught classes and done things, taught seminars and stuff, trying to educate people, and people come late. People come in with an attitude that they thought I was going to be giving them something at the end. I'm like, motherfucker, I'm here to give you knowledge. I ain't here to put no money in your pocket. I'm not here to help you start no business. You better get the fuck out of here with this shit. Okay? But this is the mentality of black people. Well, not just black people, everybody actually. But haters don't prioritize and they don't invest. They don't invest in time and effort. What they do is they sit around and complain. They're unmotivated. They blame all their failures on somebody else. Well, if I could have been I could have been in the NFL if it wasn't for my mom, you know, doing this, doing that. I've had people say stupid shit like that to me. And there probably was a time when I said stuff like that. Well, if it wasn't for my parents, XYZ. But luckily, I grew a brain, and I realized the value of hard work. And that while I'm sitting around here doing nothing, it was a period of time when all I did was go to bars and clubs and fuck bitches and just go to work. I barely had enough time to go to work. I realized that wasn't going to get me anywhere, and that I had to buckle down and start making shit happen, which is what I did. I made shit happen. Okay? I made shit happen. And as a result of that, I am where I am today. I ain't exactly where I need to be, but I ain't exactly where I need to be, but I am happy and I feel blessed with what God has done for me. And I'm not sitting around talking about, oh, you know, God, oh, you did me wrong. You didn't give me what I realized what I needed, and you didn't give me what I want and all this. Yeah, there's times when I sit around and think, man, if I could just get this particular piece of equipment, you know, I could do X, Y, Z. Well, you know what? It just ain't the right time. Because when it's the right time, you will get the money to buy that item or items that you need to go from point A to point C or point D and E and F. It just ain't the right time. But wherever you are today, you better appreciate it. Appreciate that raggedy car you got. Because that's really the only car you got. Okay? So when I talk to people and they sitting around here talking about, well, I got a raggedy $2,000 car, you know, I wanna drive something better than this. Well, you know what? Maybe you're not supposed to drive anything better than what you have right now. Maybe you need to be satisfied with what you have. You know, you talk to a lot of broke ass women, and what do broke women say? Oh, you know, this little raggedy car, I want a Bentley, I want a Mercedes. Who gives a fuck what you want? Who gives a fuck what you want? Who gives a shit what you want? Who gives a shit what you want? What should be evident is being thankful for what you have. You'll never hear, even some of these church bitches, you'll never hear any of them say, hey, I thank God for the little nothing I do have. You know why? Because they think they're entitled to better. They think they're entitled to better. And you know what? Madison Avenue has fed that mentality to these people. For people to walk around. You know, I've talked to broke ass dusty dudes who I've talked to over the years, and the first thing they say is, man, I deserve better than this. Well, what are you doing to not be a dusty nigga? What are you doing not to be walking the streets looking crazy as hell and stinky and funky and dusty looking? What have you been doing? Man, I'm thinking about going to an HVAC pro. Thinking about, well, you're not in an HVAC program. And then for you to sit up here and go to prison and then get mad because don't nobody want to hire you, you brought that on yourself, dog. Whose fault is that? And you could look at me crazy and looking at me like you want to fuck me up all you want. The fact of the matter is It's you who's holding you back. You're in your own fucking way. Hating gets people nowhere. What hating does is it limits you and restricts you from making progress. It's not the lack of opportunities that hurts people. It's the squandering of opportunities and lack of prioritizing that cost people the opportunity or the chance to rise above their situation. I'll give you an example. This book should have been finished months ago. I'm still writing it, although I did a chunk of work last week. But today's a work day. I got to get up off my ass and start and finish this book. It's not going to be that long. I don't plan on making no 500-page book, but I do want it to be a few hundred pages. And so far, I'm not there yet. But I know what the problem is, and it's not writer's block. It's I've gotten comfortable, and that my hunger for finishing the book has waned over the months because of stuff that's been going on with my business up in Minnesota, and things going, some major things that I've had to take care of, and because of that, that has taken priority. But you can best believe in the next month or two, the book will be finished. Because I do have an idea of what I need to do, and it's going to get done. It's going to get done. Hell or high water, it will be done. So I ain't really worried about that. But haters squander their opportunities. They squander their gifts. They squander the opportunity to rise above their situation. So what these people end up doing is they just keep making poor decisions that cost them everything. You got people that's starting over in their 30s, starting over in their 40s because they made horrible decisions. Everybody has some kind of talent. It's just that they don't know how to cultivate it. They don't know how to maximize their opportunities. I've always been pretty good at that, although there's some opportunities that I still have blown over the years. But for the most part, most of the opportunities that have been afforded to me in the last 6 or 7 years, I've taken those opportunities and I've run with them. So I can honestly say that, to get me to the point where I am today, I've maximized my opportunities, and I didn't squander them, and I didn't sit here and mean mug and get nasty to people. I accepted the bad decisions that I made, and I moved forward. But I thank God for the meager existence that I had to endure for years until I could get the money to make moves out here that have put me where I am today. Okay? I drove around an $800 truck until I could do better. Yeah, there was times when I was embarrassed. There was times when I felt like, that I deserved better, but at the same time, I just kept grinding. And now, as a result of my grinding, I'm now in a position where I'm making things happen. It's not exactly where I want them to be, but at least I'm on my way, and I'm not squandering opportunities. Okay? I'm willing to sit front of that computer and do research. I'm willing to sit down and make things happen on all these different fronts that I have going on. But to sit around and be mad at somebody else because they maximize their opportunities and their potential, the Iceman ain't got time for that shit. Just like when we talk about simps and tricks. Simps and tricks do wine and dine women because they ain't shit. Simps and tricks wine and dine women and take care of other men's kids because they ain't got no other angles to pull. They can't go straight. They can't come straight at a female and be like, look, I'm such and such. I'm a FedEx driver. I do pretty good. I own my own home. I only got one kid. I take care of my son. I'm doing very well. I'm invested in rental property, income property. I'm doing all right. That's how real players come at women. But what fakes and phonies and weak ass dudes like Steve Harvey, lames, what lames do is they play angles. They gotta play an angle instead of coming straight at a bitch because they know if they came straight at a bitch, the bitch will see the lameness in him. So they gotta go out here and wine and dine women and spend all this money on women because you want to take the attention off of you, the simp and the trick. You want to take, you want the bitch to be, oh, he did this for me, he flew me to Vegas, he did that, he did this, he did that. So you won't acknowledge how weak he is as a man. Only weak men do that kind of shit. Go by AskTheIceman.com. Go by AskTheIceman.com to check out my monthly specials on subscriptions, life coaching, therapy, and the like. Refer a friend to AskTheIceman.com. And also, if you're suffering from mental disorders or you just need to turn your life around, you got some career choices you need to make, sign up for a life coaching or therapy subscription to at AskTheIceman.com. I can help you make very difficult decisions that you need to make. I can help you do that. But you have to take the first step and go by AskTheIceman.com and check me out. Also check out the Single Mothers, Single Fathers Support Initiative. Please contribute some money, man. Come on. Black people, I expect more out of you than $315. Come on, brothers and sisters. Stop being cheap. Stop sitting up here supporting Honky McGee's bullshit and going out there spending all your money at the mall. But then when brothers and sisters need your assistance, you ain't got no help for us. You ain't got no money because you too busy buying Bentleys for Honky McGee. You tune in to the Iceman Show. I'm your host, the Iceman. Holler at your boy.